welcome to episode 154 of Anime Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z. Sort of.
Alright guys, last week we picked, for category C,
Yes.
Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is a Japanese neo-noir science fiction anime. I
guess.
Noir fits. Neo, I guess, because they're in the future.
Yeah.
But, I love, the weird, space opera type things that get tagged. And, who thinks of these tags, very specific genre? It's in space, it's a drama, who gives a
Yeah, it's sci-fi. There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Television series created and animated by Sunrise, led by a production team of director, Shinichiro Watanabe, screenwriter, something, character designer, something. Okay. Series ran for 26 episodes, dubbed Sessions, set in the year 2071, follows the lives of a traveling. I'm not going to read all that stuff.
We're just skipping through this.
It's weird. It's in the description, usually what the wiki is just this was made as a manga, then it was made as an anime, and then here are the people that have made it, and then the release dates. This isn't that. This is a synopsis almost.
Yeah, but it's Cowboy Bebop, so someone got really into writing this one.
So there was a manga from, I'm going to read the side part of the wiki, from 97 to 98. The anime aired from 98 to also 98, so April to June, and then broadcasting. And then another manga by Illustrated, 98 to 2000, lists 3 volumes. So I wonder what that is, why there's 2 different mangas.
One has 2 volumes?
There's 2 volumes for the 97 to 98, and then there's 3 volumes. So I wonder if they redid it and then added something.
Possibly.
Spike's dead at the end of the show, spoiler.
I mean...
He's dead.
Technically, but if they wanted to...
If they wanted to, of course.
He survives.
Jet could have picked him up.
He survives his wounds, and you could easily make that into another season, which I'm surprised they didn't, honestly.
Considering the cult following, it's really surprising.
Right.
I think they knew they would have ruined it.
That's possible. I mean, they made a movie out of it, though.
Yeah, sure, but the movie's... It's just an episode. It's a long episode. That's all the movie is.
That did feel like a long episode. But we'll get to that.
And they completely ruined the live action.
Oh, well. I mean, that was doomed to fail from
So I think they kind of knew, even back then, alright, let's see.
So before we actually get into this, I actually own this on DVD.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I watched it on Netflix, and I'm happy I did because it's remastered, and it looks amazing.
It does. It does look amazing. But what I'm bringing up is... I have DVD from Sunrise and stuff, so I got a bunch of trailers in there.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So I wanted to bring up and see if you heard of any of them.
Good.
So
probably not. Every old anime DVD that I've ever watched had anime trailers that looked cool, but I never watched.
Okay. So the first one is called Mars Daybreak.
Nope. Haven't even heard of it.
Some kind of mech one.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. The next one's called Planets.
I've seen Planets. Did we not review that?
No.
I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen it's like a kind of like Cowboy Bebop, but not as high tech.
Mm-hmm.
But humanity is still in space and stuff, and it's about a couple mechanical workers on a space station.
Yeah, it's all I got was I wrote down debris has an explanation. Debris is a threat to them or something.
If I remember, but it was following almost slice of life of these people. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised I knew that.
Oh, well, there you go. So you do know. And you probably know this one, Gundam Seed.
I know the name.
Okay, and there's also Gundam Seed Legacy.
Yeah, I know. I've never watched... There's so many Gundam animes, and I know most of their names, but I've never watched them.
Scrapped Princess.
Nope.
Apparently a princess was thrown away because she was destined to destroy the world or something. There's another one called Eureka 7.
I know the name. I think I might have seen an episode. Can't remember much of it.
It's mechs on hoverboards.
Yeah, I've seen an episode or two.
The last one was, Ghost in the Shell, that's which we covered. But yeah, so I just think we're going to brought them up because stretch out this review a little bit.
So premise.
Go for it.
Spike and Jet are on a big spaceship.
So this is going to be one of the few animes that we know all the names to.
Spike, yeah, and they're normal names. Well, fairly normal anyway.
Oh yeah.
Spike and Jet are on a big spaceship, a big spaceship that houses little jets and other tiny little spaceships.
The Cowboy Bebop.
The Bebop.
Yeah, Bebop.
And they're bounty hunters, so they go in between different planets and moons, and space stations, but they don't really just, we'll get into it, but they don't really describe where they're at all the time. You kind of just pick it up here and there.
Yeah, you just gotta guess sometimes.
So they're bounty hunters. They both have, complicated pasts. The show gets into their pasts, and it's about them bounty hunting. It's also about them picking up Faye and Ed and Ein, and about their pasts.
Well,
and what they all contribute.
Mine doesn't have much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had an episode all about him.
Yeah, I know, but what does he do?
So Ein is a dog that has something in his blood, like a code, genetic, like database or something like that. I forget exactly. It was only relevant for the one episode.
Okay. Now, you can keep going. I'm just muting my phone. Apparently someone's texting me at 11 o'clock at night.
It's not me.
I know.
Well, it would be 4 a.m. for me. Yeah, so they pick up Faye, Ed, Ein, Jet, Spike. It's about their stories, individual stories, and it's really just about their individual stories, and then the random single episodes of them bounty hunting.
Let's go back to Ein for a minute. What is his purpose? What does he do?
What, to help?
No, but what is he?
Oh, he's a dog, but there's something in his blood. I can't remember exactly what it was from the episode, but there's a database of something inside his
because they never use whatever is special about him.
Absolutely. Because
he's
kind of funny.
He kind of becomes irrelevant after that episode.
For the most part, but he does help out here and there.
Yeah, no, but he's just pretty much a side character.
Yeah. Well, he's a dog.
Yeah, I know.
There's not much else he can do.
It's just he helps out here and there, but there's not really a lot to him. I just found it weird that his purpose kind of was no purpose. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So that's the premise.
Right.
Past that, before we get into anything else, I want to comment on the high quality of the animation and the world design. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his jet, Spike's little jet thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called. Swordfish, maybe.
Yeah, swordfish. I think that's what it's called.
And it's the detail into making this look like it actually works, and not just some flashy bullshit Gundam. I wave my hand, it works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's real detail into the world and how things physically work. There's also a lot of detail in the physical animation of everything, which is 2 decades ahead of everything else.
Yeah,
it looks so good. There's more than 2 decades because there's constant animes that come out now that don't have that level of detail.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks good even by today's standards.
Yes. And I know I watched the remastered, but for remasters, it's really just colors and fuzziness.
I watched the original DVD versions all because I had them, and I was like, these still look amazing. Even
we also watched the movie, which will be on a separate episode. But I was able to watch the difference between the remaster of the show and the not remaster of the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's a stark difference, but only color.
Yeah.
Everything else
doesn't look as bright.
Yes, it's not quite Faye's hair was very dark.
Everything is...
But past that...
Because it's kind of got almost... It looks average, but there's a stylization to it at the same time.
Well, that's the physical art. I'm talking... Yes, you're correct. But also just the animation of them moving on screen.
Right, yeah.
It's such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably some of the best we've ever encountered, if not
even
the best.
By today's standards. Yeah. It's part, if not the best.
Honestly, this might be the best anime.
Well, I can't. It's not going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't like episodic things.
Yeah, I know.
And that really was jarring. But just during the brunt of the middle of this 26 episode show.
Just on a technical level.
Oh, fantastic.
Through the roof. It's very rare to come across an anime of this quality. Even just world building. And it is very episodic. But that's because there isn't an overall story arc.
There really isn't.
There's a bunch of
4 separate stories.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's what it is. It's designed.
It's got its charm.
Yes.
It's kind of like a Law and Order episode. For things that aren't, for the episodes that aren't their backstory.
Right. It's
a Law and Order. What's the plot. Oh, we're going to find this bounty. We're not going to find this bounty. We're not going to get the money. We are going to get the money. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to fight. But Faye's going to use her feminine wiles.
But the stories are all unique.
They are. Well, much like Law and Order. Except after a while, Law and Order's been out for so long.
No, what I mean... What I
you
mean
only
is,
rape someone so many ways.
What I mean is, there's a one about a chess master, and then there's one about a cult leader, and then there's different.
They're very unique.
They're very unique in what they're explaining and what they're doing.
A tiny bit pretentious at times.
Yes, very much so.
Maybe more than a tiny bit.
It's a pretentious show, no doubt.
It's not bad though.
No.
So in the production of this, they had to have known they had something because the whole show. but also just the intro and outro.
Yes.
It's good, but it's pretentiously good.
Yes.
So, like, they had to have known that this was going somewhere to make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, not with this show, the problem with other animes that do that is, they're shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're not good.
This show's earned its pretentiousness.
Yeah, but again, like, it earned its pretentiousness, but you have to know that beforehand, that it's going to earn it. Otherwise, it's just going to be terrible. And so they knew they had something great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because,
Because the opening and ending is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I'm watching on Netflix, and I don't want to skip it.
Right.
I want to watch it.
So, this show's got some of the best soundtrack I've ever had in an anime, period. Like, the music in this, even though, and it's got a mixture of music. It's not just one thing.
It's not just jazz. Yeah. Sometimes it's metal. Sometimes it's
so there's like a
techno.
There is one really bad poppy song in there somewhere. But the music is really, really good. Like,
it fits the setting that you're in at the moment.
Yeah,
really
and
well.
It stands out too, as like, it doesn't take away from the show that you're watching, but it also stands out on its own as good. Like, some of the songs in there, like the first Spike story arc where we meet Vicious and everything. When he goes out that window, that song's like iconic in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember watching it and be like, "This is awesome."
Yeah,
like, this is iconic almost.
Yeah. So, like, that song just sticks in my head. Like, I can't tell you what the words are. I think it's in Latin anyway, but...
So, the ending song, I can't do it, so I can't, like, recreate it, but, like, there's a couple points in the show where it comes up, and it just fits really great.
Like the end credit song? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the show is really, really good, and it's kind of hard to know where to start.
I mean, it's good. Watch it.
I mean, yeah.
Past that, I mean... It's hard to go episode by episode because there's so many weird ones.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Maybe we just review Phase Arc, maybe we review Spike's Arc, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Ein's just one episode. We find a dog, and they adopt the dog, and that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Because, Spike doesn't like animals, kids, and women.
Well, in the beginning, I think that's part of his story.
That's the joke, you know? Mm-hmm. He doesn't like these specific, so we're getting these specific crew members.
Before we get into anything else, I think Cowboy Bebop is a show about 4 people whose stories have already ended. Like, their main story, like, imagine it's a video game. Mm-hmm. This is after that. This is the post-credit scene.
Yeah, I got that feeling. With Jet and Spike, definitely. Faye, not so much.
Well, I feel like she's trying to figure out herself. Like, she already had a life.
Well, that's the thing.
And then got erased. And then she's trying to remember and figure out who she is and everything. So maybe not so much with Faye. Maybe you're right with that. But definitely for Jet and Spike.
Definitely Jet and Spike. And I don't know.
Maybe not Ed as much either. No. But that's only because Ed's so young.
Yeah, that's true too. But see,
But Ed was like a big old hacker and everything, and then I'm just gonna be on this.
Faye's technically old, but she's not. She's kind of technically still young.
Yeah,
too.
She's in her 20s.
So like,
she was frozen for like 80 years or something.
Yeah. So there wasn't much time from what we discovered about her past to how much she had. So
she didn't remember herself or anything, but she knew, or she thought she knew what like a cell phone was and everything. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to criticize that and say like, it's been like 60, 80 years. Of course she would know what a cell phone is. That's crazy. Why would they not do that? And then I had to remember 80 years ago there wasn't phones. So who knows what 60, 80 years from now our phones are essentially tablet little computer phones with screens might be completely different. Yeah. So I was ready to criticize that, and then it just kind of like
clipped. Yeah, it's like technology changed so fast. So who knows? It might be different 20 years from now.
Yeah,
not saying 80. You know,
Neuralink comes out and we don't need phones anymore.
Okay,
that could happen.
So, which arc did you like the best?
So, like, I'm tending to want to say Spike
because it's the main plot.
Because he's the main plot. But if I'm being honest, it's pretty. To me, it's not the most enticing. I was almost said pretty boring. It's not boring. It's just like his story is so sparse throughout the show that it's like I'm not waiting for the next episode of his story,
right?
And I'm not waiting for anyone's next episode of their story. Actually,
right?
I equally dislike and like more of the single episodes.
Yeah,
I think that's where the show shines more and where it gets its charm more.
Right.
Like, it's the noir, we're cruising on a spaceship, maybe we don't have any gas, maybe we don't have any food. So, wait, there's a bounty.
So, funnily enough, you like the episodic.
but I equally dislike it. Like, I'm being honest. Like, there's a couple of them that are muddled that were boring, and it was hard to watch.
There's a few.
So I disliked those ones, but like at the same time, that's its charm.
I don't know. There's a lot of emotion in the show too.
Yeah, but it's like the baseline emotion's low, and then when the emotion comes out, it spikes up high.
Yes, like they hold off on it. They like to hit you with it at the very end of an episode. That's when they like to hit you. Like Faye, for instance. They spend the whole episode looking for a beta VCR.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then they hit you with the backstory, what the tape is right in the end. It's like, oh, that's...
And she's like watching it.
Yeah, watching her old self not remembering who she was. And it's like, oh, that's kind of dark.
It's deep. but not pretentiously deep. They are pretentious in the show, but not there.
Her old self is telling her, cheering for herself, don't forget me, she's saying, and there she is, completely forgotten, and stuff like that. And, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, we said we're going to go through each one, and we didn't go through any.
Well, I don't... Why is it just Faye? We're on Faye.
Yeah, Faye.
There's an episode where you get Faye's... So you meet Faye before you get her origin story.
Mm-hmm.
She's essentially being held captive on, like, a casino.
Well...
Space station.
She was doing something wrong, and she got caught.
Well, she was gambling. She had, like, massive debt for gambling. She was, like, the queen of something is what her nickname was. She wasn't a bounty hunter yet, as far as we know.
Yeah, no, but I think she was actually trying to steal.
Probably. She's the, like, you said this, your words, before, and it's perfect. She's the classic femme fatale.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think she was trying to steal, and they called her, and like, oh, you are this famous lady, or something.
So the guy, like, captured her and was like, hey, we'll wipe your debts, but you gotta do this one thing for me.
Which
I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, you need to collect this chip. Oh, because
you have to give this chip to this person.
No,
do a certain thing.
You have to win all this guy's money in order to do that.
Yes, but he's supposed to lose. Yeah. Like, it's just supposed to be a dog and pony show. You're both in on it.
I was about to say, why did they need her for it, but she had to cheat in order to make sure she
They
won.
didn't need to do any of that. He could have just walked up to one of the guys and like, here's the chip.
Yeah,
it was a dumb premise.
Yeah, I know. But for their plan and the way they're enacting, they needed her because she was very good at cheating. Yeah.
And, but apparently Spike sat down instead, and he had a similar suit.
Yeah. And it kind of looked like it was like the guy that was going for it was like a low rent Spike. So.
Mm-hmm. Did you say low res Spike?
No, low rent.
Oh, low rent. So which version? Yeah. So what was supposed to happen was the guy was supposed to lose all his money, and then his last ship was he was supposed to tip her. So Spike has his last ship. He lost all his money. He goes, "No, I'm going to keep it," and walks away.
And then the whole episode is them trying to get the chip and stuff like that. And then, coincidentally, he bumps into the guy that has the real chip.
Oh, of course. And then they swap chips on accident.
Yeah, they swap chips on accident, and it's like
a bunch of crap ensues, and she ends up joining the crew.
Right.
But for the first couple episodes with her, once she's joined the crew, she's kind of looking for a way out. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really want to be with them, even though she's there. Mm-hmm. She's just there because she doesn't have anywhere else to be.
That's her arc, accepting
that she's going to be a bounty hunter, that she's with them. Yeah, the band of misfits.
Exactly. And then, of course, I said trying to speak sentences is hard. Across the series, we learned that she has amnesia, and we get episodes about her ex-boyfriend, who wasn't her ex-boyfriend.
That was a fun episode.
Who...
Maybe Faye's. If I have to pick one of the story arcs to like most, it might be Faye's.
I think it's mine's Faye's, too, just because of how emotionally deep it is and how convoluted it is at the same time.
Yeah. And also funny, because she's dating this guy, and then he fakes his own death. Uh-huh. He's the lawyer that's supposed to be helping her out because apparently she owes the hospital a lot of money for being cryogenically frozen and then fixed from their accident.
Here's my question about that. Did she actually owe that money, or was that just a scam to get?
I feel like it was a scam because if she actually owed it, there'd be a bounty on her head.
Yeah, but I mean, she was cryogenically frozen.
So I feel like she probably owed money, but it's probably illegal to actually charge someone $80 million, whatever it was, $1 million for an operation.
She didn't put herself into cryogenic sea. She got in a car accident, and someone else put her into that. So I don't know.
Space accident.
Yeah, so someone put. Yeah, you're right. It was a spaceship blew up or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, they put her against. She didn't agree to that. So
sure, but if I break, we're talking America here, not anywhere else.
Yeah, I know.
If I get shot in the chest and I'm incapacitated, they pick me up, bring me to the hospital, I owe that bill. Now, I can sue the guy that shot me.
Right.
Right? But I still owe that bill.
I mean, technically, I suppose, unless,
So what I'm saying is, I think she might have technically owed that money in a sense, but like the way laws change and everything.
Yeah, that's what
maybe what they're doing is illegal.
Yeah.
Trying to take it.
Well, that's what I think. I kind of found it really hard to believe that she owed millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, I can get it. 80 years frozen and then fixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't know if that was a scam or not. It didn't feel like it would be a scam.
I think it's gray. I think it's gray. I don't know, because like the guys that were chasing her in a much later episode were from the hospital, and they stole a police car. Well, I mean, if you're on the up and up,
but they're the same people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they stole a police car.
Yeah, they stole.
So if they're on the up and up and they're like legitimately trying to capture their assets, right?
But they weren't coming after Faye.
No, they were coming after the other guy. But it could still be very legitimate because he f***ed them over. It could still be legitimate that he owes them money or whatever.
No, they were coming to save him. That guy, the doctor who he's working with.
Yeah, they were coming to save him.
Yeah, because that's his uncle.
I know, but he owed him something because he died and all his debts and everything. They never got repaid. He up and left. They wanted him. They didn't. It wasn't him trying to save him.
Look, yes, it was.
I don't think it was at all.
Because at the end of that episode where she's dating him and stuff, she inherits all of his debt.
I remember.
So he owes nothing. And
no, he does because he's not actually dead.
Yeah, but no one knows that.
Well, apparently they do, and he's not paying it.
But they don't. They were in on it.
Okay, sure, but he didn't want to go with them.
Yes, he did. Because
are you sure? Maybe I'm wrong.
Because the cops showed up.
Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, they're not all on the up and up.
No, they're all
because they stole a police car.
Right, they're all scam artists.
Exactly.
They were all in on it. That's what I'm saying. Because the cops show up.
Yeah, that still works.
Yeah, the cops show up and they say the doctor says, "Sorry, I'm going to abandon you to the cops because I'm not getting caught." And he's like, "Uncle, well, don't go."
Gotcha.
So yeah,
but either way, like I feel like it's still a little bit of the gray market for her. Like the gray area for her.
Yeah, so that's why I just
maybe she does owe money, but they probably can't collect it in the way they're trying to.
She does owe it now that she inherited that guy's supposed dead.
Well, she owes his money at the very least.
Right.
But if he's not actually dead, then she didn't actually inherit it, and then he got picked up by the police, so I'm sure that could have gotten fixed.
I mean, possibly. I don't know, but she still owes money after that.
But again, if it was like legitimately, I owed a lot of money, if it was all on the up and up and legitimate, there'd be a bounty on her head, 100%.
Oh, right now? Her running around? Sure.
But there isn't.
But yeah,
so I think it's a great thing. I think she probably owes the money, but them legally can't come after her like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like if I owe money to the hospital, I'm not paying it. They can't just come and capture me.
Right.
Right? They charge me, they garnish my wages legally, but they can't just come up into my house and cuff me.
Right. I don't know.
But and then she wakes up at the hospital for the first time, and the lawyer guy is charming and attractive, and he's trying to help her because she owes money to the hospital. And then they go to leave, but then he dies, and she inherits all his debt. And then she runs away.
He fakes his death, and she inherits his debt, and then she runs away.
And then the next time you see him is like X amount of episodes later, and he's fat.
He got fat implants.
He took a fat implant in the armpit. And she's like, what the f***? And then Spike and Jet are kind of laughing because he's big.
Yeah.
But then she's like, all right, fine, we're together. And she goes to leave with him and save him. And then, I don't know exactly if the police caught up with him, something happened.
Yeah, the police surrounded them.
And, he got caught. And that was kind of it for the most part with her story until she gained her memories back.
Well, then we had the episode where they were looking for the Betamax with the videotape because, Betamax went out. Was ancient. It's ancient in our days.
Now. So Spike just doesn't give a They're at like this old retro like VCR type store.
Yep.
Trying to play this video because they don't have anything that can play it. It's a Betamax.
Yeah.
And he's like kicking the machine, breaking it. Just doesn't give a shit. One thing I want to discuss. They have no care in the world about collateral damage, and they mostly don't care about people dying in the crosshairs of them fighting. Not always, but mostly.
Mostly. I kind of just took that's how bounty hunters are in this world, because they all
yes,
are like
I agree.
that.
I agree. But at the same time, it's like, sure, you killed, like in the movie. I'm just going to use this as an example. We'll do the movie when we do the movie, I guess. But like, it's true for the whole show. they're chasing this guy. Bad cops are chasing them, so like they're taking out the bad cops. Fine, I guess that's kind of that. I can see how that could work out. But then Spike's like blowing up concrete structures, like modern, current, being used concrete structures to help him defeat the bad cops. And it's like we're talking about tens of millions of dollars of damage.
Mm-hmm. So
even if you did capture the bounty, it wouldn't be enough.
They do mention a lot of the time. Sometimes, like, what happened to the money? It was, Jet does say, it was that
you blew up the car. You're right.
So he does say that stuff, but I would also assume on a grander scale, considering the world they live in, there's probably bounty hunter insurance.
Insurance? That'd have been funny if they had showed that. They show in the very first episode that there's tolls to go through the space stations.
Well, there's
entry into like warp speed or whatever.
There's a whole episode about someone robbing the tolls. That was the chess master episode. So yeah. I mean, but yeah. Back. I guess let's finish up Faye's little thing because
I was in and out in the beginning of the episode where she was recovering her memory, but I remember her leaving. Ed left at the same time.
She comes back.
Yeah, she does come back, but I don't quite understand why she was leaving. Like, you got your memory back, but there's still nowhere for you to go. And she kept saying, like, I've got somewhere to go. I don't have to be with you guys. But it's like, where is it? Because you're not there.
Because she remembers where her home was. So she was going home back to where she thought her house was still there and stuff. And she got there.
Did she?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
Yeah, she was, because Ed finally reveals to her where she was looking for, because Ed knew where the video stuff was. So they show her as, like, a cut back between her as an adult and her as a kid running up the street to her house. And apparently she was rich, because she lived in the mansion. Then the kid went up there and pushed the gate open, and she was going into this mansion. But then it showed Faye, and there's just nothing there. It's gone.
I mean, of course.
It's completely, like, gone. In fact, there's a moment where she draws in the dirt where her bed used to be and just lies down on the ground, because she just has nowhere to go.
But even after that, Spike is like freaking out because Jet got shot in the leg, and he's like, Faye, where the f*** are you at? Like, get over here. Essentially saying, we need your help. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I got places to be. I have a home. Hangs up on him. And it's like, but you kind of don't.
But at the same time, she's kind of going through something.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, that's you. So.
Women are emotional ones. You don't see Spike acting like that.
He's nothing but emotion when it comes to Julia.
He had to handle his shit, but you don't see him freaking out saying, I'm not going to help you.
All he does is freak out when those two show up. Literally, everything else is collateral damage when those two show up.
Faye and Spike?
No. When Julia and Vicious show up.
Yeah, sure,
everything else.
Fighting.
But like, I mean, doesn't matter what Spike's doing. If he hears that something's involved, everything else gets dropped. I don't give a crap.
Yeah, that does happen. Okay, that's fair. But Jet kind of acknowledges his because he knows his is, like, legit. And right. Like, he has a serious past, whereas Faye's is like, oh, I don't have my memories. My family's dead. Oh.
Well, she didn't know her family was dead.
Sure, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. But
once you figured out everyone was dead, okay, go back to the Bebop. What are you doing?
Well, she literally just realized everything. She had like, what, 5 minutes?
Who knows? Because they're cutting back and forth. Could have been a couple hours.
Oh, a couple hours is enough to get over emotional damage, sure.
No, okay. But it's like, after a couple hours, are you, walking back to your spaceship and sitting there? Like, what are you doing? Go back to the Bebop. Well, actually, why are you just sitting there?
Actually, she was going back to her spaceship. Maybe she was going back to Bebop, and then Spike called her and said, get your ass back here. And she was like, you.
Maybe.
I'm just saying. They know how she is. You don't tell her what to do, or she's...
That's very true. And Spike kind of has a thing for her, but not really. I think the reason why he doesn't have a thing for her, though, is because he's hung up on Julia.
Well, yeah.
So if Spike was still alive and the show was still going, I think he would eventually be with Faye.
Well, because Julia's dead now. Yes.
Yes, because he's not hung up on her anymore.
But if the show continued, they found a way to keep Julia alive or whatever.
Bitch is dead.
She was cryogenically frozen and stolen out of the grave that Spike buried her or something. Something stupid like that. But yeah.
So what was the whole Julia story? Like, Vicious, Spike, Julia all worked for the Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
I know Julia and Spike had a thing, but didn't Julia sleep with Vicious at some point? I feel like she did.
They showed a couple of scenes of Vicious in bed with her.
Yeah, I mean, they slept together.
So I think...
So she's a whore. Unless there's some information I don't know, like Vicious was forcing her or something.
But to be fair, it just showed Vicious in the bed. I don't think they ever showed her in the bed.
Well, then he can't be in the bed with her.
Like, I mean, he was in bed with a woman. I just assumed it was Julia.
Yellow hair? It's Julia.
I don't know. I don't remember the scene.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
but if she did sleep with them both, Spike, you're simp. Stop it.
Or it could have been a situation where she was sleeping with Vicious and then she moved on to Spike.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then Terrence...
But you know it's bad that we don't actually know this.
Yeah, because
I feel like we should know this.
Yeah, they didn't go into the story.
I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure if I was just like tuning a bit of it out. That happens sometimes when I'm watching 26 episodes.
No, the story we did get, we don't know anything about the relationship between Julia and Vicious. But what we do know is Spike fell, and Julia fell hard for each other.
Sure.
And then Spike wanted to get out, and he was going to do one last job to do it. But Vicious caught on and went to Julia, and was like, you're going to kill Spike, and then you can live, but if you don't, you're both going to die. Mm-hmm. And instead of going and killing Spike, she went on the run, and then Spike got away and went to be on the run.
But, why not go on the run with Spike?
I don't.
That's, that's what I mainly don't understand about this. It's like, you love each other, we know this, you care for each other, you both left the Syndicate, why aren't you together?
Because technically, the Syndicate, I guess, is still after Julia, but
they're still kind of after Spike. They're constantly shooting at him every time they see him.
That's true, but they're not actively searching for him like they were for Julia.
That sounds like a bunch of crap.
They don't. I think.
And let's be honest here. The name Syndicate, that's generic.
Well, no, the Syndicate's the explanation for the overall gangs.
I understand.
There's several gangs within.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's very generic.
Yeah, I know.
You could have come up with a better name for it.
I think they knew that the backstory was a little weak. That's why they kept it in
it's sparse and it's just Spike's story.
I think that's why they only showed flashes of it here and there every now and again, and they went with the artistic style of explaining it rather than giving us a direct answer.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
No,
but I have questions.
I have questions too.
So, and it's not that it's not terrible. It's just like you could have done it better.
I think there was also they wanted to keep it shrouded too, or keep Spike
mystery, right?
Yeah. So I don't know.
You got to tell me by the end.
I mean, why? Everyone's dead.
Well, because you've been built. Why? Because this is the story you're telling. That's why. I need to know the story.
All you really need to know. Hey, Spike found Julia.
Yeah, but I don't know why he cares about her. Why isn't she with him? Why didn't she leave? I have these questions. I want them answered.
That's true. We didn't really see them together to really get their relationship. Mm-hmm. But the way he acted anytime her name came up, he kind of
clearly cared.
Yeah.
More.
So I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss. What did you really want an episode of them dating?
Doesn't need to be a whole episode. Just explain she's staying away from me because they're after her, but not me. That would be simple and enough.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to do Spikes real quick?
I thought we were doing that. I don't remember I remember the last two episodes very vividly, but past that.
Essentially, what we just explained. And, the episodes are pretty much anytime Spike encounters Vicious, they fight. Honestly, Spike's storyline's more about Vicious than even Spike. Because it's about Vicious trying to take over the Syndicate and overthrow the old...
And the Syndicate wants to wipe out all the old blood, which includes Spike and Julia. And then Vicious takes over, and of course he's going to hunt down.
They don't want to take them all out until Vicious attempts the coup. And when that fails, which really didn't fail, it was a trap. And
the leaders of the Syndicate are like, all right, we can't let this happen again. Let's take them all out.
Yeah, even people who weren't in the Syndicate anymore, it's like, okay, that's weird. That's a little excessive, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
Yeah, it's something, a Syndicate would do.
What was it with Vicious's bird?
It was just there to blow up. Don't you remember it blowing up?
Yeah, at the end, but he had it in other episodes. What was he has this bird, he has a connection with it, they fight together.
He likes that bird, and he puts bombs in it so he can kill the old people at the end.
His sword was cool.
Yeah.
He fought with the sword and everything.
His fights with Spike are pretty cool. The sword versus the gun.
Yeah. Completely unrealistic, but it's cool.
Yeah, no, I don't think they were going for realistic. I think they were
not.
It was the rule of cool in this.
Do you remember the one fight where Spike got bested?
Which one?
There's only one. Where he's seriously bested, outclassed. He will not win.
No.
It's with Ed's dad.
Oh, yeah. Ed's dad kicks his ass.
Spike's like throwing everything at him and like punching him and landing it, and he's just standing there like a brick wall. Like, oh, a mosquito. And then flips Spike and punches him and kicks him and, you know, tosses him.
Yeah. Ed's kind of... She's a genius, but I think she's a bit autistic, too.
Oh, definitely.
And I think her dad's the same way.
Yes.
So, like, he lost his daughter for, like, 8 years.
Because he left her at
daycare.
I forgot which one it was.
So, as just to go into Ed for a little bit, she's just a computer hacker, smart person who likes the Cowboy Bebop and wants to join them. She joins them up until the point where her dad shows back up.
And then she leaves to be with Dad, and then Dad leaves her, and, like, I don't understand why she didn't just stay on the Bebop. Like, oh, Dad doesn't want to be with me. Alright, Bebop, I have a family. Yeah. She stayed on that planet and started walking.
The dad asks her if you want to stay with me from now on. And then he runs off and continues his research. So,
like runs off and leaves her there.
Yeah, but
like he forgot.
But so they're the same. So I think
they're very similar.
So I think she gets that, and she misses her dad. So she's.
I disagree with that. It's like you found your family, people that actually care about you and are there for you to help you. You stay with them.
I mean, sure, that's your take on it.
Yes, it is.
It's your take on it, but some people aren't like that. Some people just want to be.
Some people are wrong.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue people's feelings over family with you.
People have wrong feelings.
I'm just saying,
and I'm here to let them know that.
Sure.
Your feelings are valid, but wrong. Feel a different way.
I think that goes against what feelings are.
No, not if you're a psychopath.
You can't help how you feel.
Sociopath.
Sociopaths don't have feelings.
Well, I mean, you may kind of make them.
Not really.
There's tons of sociopaths that have kids and sort of love them. And the kids love them.
They pretend to love them.
But the kids love them because they're doing a good job at pretending.
Yeah, but that's all you gotta do. That doesn't change the sociopath's feelings.
There was a study that was being done for sociopaths and like trying to figure out their brain waves and chemical balances and all that. Like what makes you a sociopath essentially. And they were able to kind of dial it in and figure out doing the brain scans. If you just look at the brain scan, you can pick who's a sociopath and who's not. And the doctor's looking at this one for the control group. So the control group's not supposed to have any of them. It's supposed to be just normal people. And he's like, oh, I found one in the control group. Let me contact this person and let them know they're a sociopath. And it finds out it was him. So, you gotta call up your wife at this point and, tell your kids, why do you love me? Why are you married to me?
Oh, man. So, this episode is 40 minutes long. And we can continue
Yeah, we could go for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, we could probably go on for another 40 minutes. And we got a whole nother episode to do.
Alright, so let's end it.
Yeah.
Jet has his own little story, but it's very small. It's pretty much he was an ex-cop, and then there's a girl episode of his ex-girlfriend. That's kind of it. There's not a whole lot of resolution. She doesn't get with him or anything.
No, actually she ends up with someone else.
Yes. We went over Ed's, and Spike dies at the end. He fights Vicious after Vicious takes over. And he was gonna fight Vicious anyway, but then Julia died from a bunch of minions from the Syndicate. So now he's really gonna fight Vicious.
Yeah.
And, they fight, cool fight scene, and he kills Vicious, but Vicious cuts him and shoots him. And
you know what my biggest question is after Spike's death? Is Jet and Faye just the Cowboy Bebop by themselves? They guys going to collect bounties now?
I mean, Jet's in the Younger Girls,
There was an episode about that. But whatever. I don't know. It's a fantastic show.
It's so well made. The only thing that's bringing it down for me, I guess the only two things, is one, the episodic thing. Even though that's its charm, I don't like it most of the time.
Yeah.
And the main story, which is fragmented, which is fine. Some of it was muddled. With Spike stuff, it's that could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not a perfect 10. It's an 8 or a 9.
Oh yeah, I'm not a 10 either. But I will say this is probably arguably one of the best animes ever made.
Yeah, just from a pen and paper point of view, right?
Yeah, exactly. My favorite anime is still going to be Trigun, and it's always going to be. But I think that this show is better than that.
Sure.
Objectively.
Yeah. As objectively as you can.
Yeah. It's probably, like I said, arguably, but probably the best anime that's been made.
Definitely from a technical standpoint.
Every story...
again, the physics of everything. I didn't say this, and I wanted to, and I forgot. Faye's boobs. They're so realistically drawn. and not in a pervy way. Like,
Right.
obviously there's there's a little bit of nudity in one episode, by the way. Not Faye, though. But, like, not in a pervy way, although there is cleavage and some fan service of her.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's just, like, boob physics. Like, how they move and how they're physically drawn, right?
Yeah.
It's way more realistic than any other anime.
She's clearly drawn with bigger breasts but it's not like there to show them off. I mean, it is.
It is, but it's also done really artistically and well done.
Right. She's supposed to be attractive. She's supposed to use that against people and stuff like that.
That's her character.
Exactly.
If you were an attractive 20-something-year-old that's, good at fighting, good at gambling, like, would you not use your attractive assets? Of course you would.
To get more of an advantage? Yeah. It's just how it is. It's
But well done is my point. Like, It was done very well.
Like, and there's, like you said, there's story qualms to it, but there's story qualms to every story. There's not a perfect story. You know what I mean?
You're only a perfect story. For you, there can be a perfect story.
For you, but objectively, there's really not any such thing as a perfect story. It's all interpretation in any way. So, fantastic. I think we're both at 9s, and I think this is, I don't even think we even need to rate anything. This is the best one we've watched and see.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Alright, guys, next episode.
We're actually going to cover the Cowboy Bebop movie. And I usually release the movies before we do the next episode, so that we usually have the next letter in the mainstay. But we're going to actually do the letter in the movie episode.
Well, it also fits for the specific one because the movie takes place between episode 22 and 23.
Yeah, and this was a longer anime, so we needed a movie to buffer it, and we figured why not just cover Cowboy Bebop the movie?
Although, to be fair, I would have only needed 1 week.
Yeah,
Thursday last week, I was on episode 18.
Yeah, I mean, and it usually takes you all week.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know it's good.
All right, let's end this before it gets any longer.
See you guys.
Bye.